All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to another session of our Tuesdays lives. We're going live. We're going to take maybe a minute or two for everybody to join, and we're going to kick things off. So, first of all, for the people that join us today, thank you so much for being with me today. We have an amazing session coming up today about body language secrets, one of my favorite topics to talk as part of communication. So, as I said, we're going to kick things off in literally 1 second. And in the meantime, you can already write down in the chat where you're joining us from in the world. I am streaming to you right now today from Da Nang, Vietnam. So feel free to write down in the chat where you're joining us from. All right. We're going to start very soon. For those of you who are watching the recording or the video, hello to you too. If we haven't met before, my name is Ty Miller, a communication coach, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speaking Club, which I'm going to talk about more down the line. But it's amazing to have you here today as well. Okay, as I said, we're going to kick things off very soon. So if people are joining us today, it's your time to grab a cup of water to make sure that we are ready, and then we can dive in. This recording, by the way, this video plus some shorts that will be cut from this video are all going to be available to you on my YouTube page. And the goal of this video, the content we're making, the community that we're building is basically to help the world communicate better, to express itself better. I made it my life mission to do it this way. And I hope you will join our vision around that. All right. I'm going to give a couple of more seconds for less people to join. And then we're going to kick things off. Okay, so let's kick things off. So before I'm diving in to talk about body language, let me take a step back. Over my last, say, 2-3 years that I'm doing communication coaching, me and my team were trying to define really what are the best strategies to help people express themselves better, to communicate themselves better, especially in high stress situations. So, interviews, presentations, talking to strangers, maybe talking to your partner. And this research led me to find body language as one of the most important tools we have today to express ourselves better. And in today's session, I'm going to do my absolute best to help you understand how you can utilize your own body to communicate better. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive because we often see communication as just the words we are using, but it's so much more than that. And today we're going to do exactly that. So if in your life, in your personal, professional life right now, you feel like you want to improve your communication, this one is for you. And as I said in previous sessions, the importance of communication these days is only getting higher and higher because now in the AI era where the machine, the computer can do so many technical skills. So it can write for you, it can edit your videos, it can code, it can do so many technical stuff, sometimes even better than humans. Our ability to communicate, to build trust, to form connections is the one of the only things that will be left for humans to differentiate themselves moving forward. And what we're doing as part of our community is help people to do exactly that. If we haven't met before, by the way, my name is Ty Miller. I'm a communication coach. I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speaking Club, which is a community for business professionals all over the world to help and express themselves better. And today we're going to talk about body language secrets. And in today's session, I'm going to basically break down three main things. One is to understand why body language is so important. And I'm going to reveal in a research that was being done by a doctor named Albert Mehabian that was basically breaking down the different components of communication. One of them, the leading one actually, is body language. So this would be number one. The second is three key body language rules. So everybody that is aspiring to improve their communication has to know these rules about what is your body language needs or should radiate to the people that you're interacting with. And lastly, we're going to talk about application. So not just theory, but how you can take body language and apply it into your day to day, as I said, especially in high stress situations, interviews, public speaking, etc. So let's dive in. I'm going to start by taking you to this research that was being done quite a while ago by a researcher called Albert Mehabian. And Albert was coming up with a rule, and this rule is called the 55-38-7 rule. What he was checking in his research across hundreds of people was how different components of communication are actually impacting the power, the how resonating your messages are with what you're saying. And what he found out is something really interesting. Is that the words we're using, what we say, only accounts for 7% of the impact of our messages, while there's two other big components that are building the majority, 93% of the impact. 38% goes for tonality, so the voice you're using. But 55%, the vast majority of impact through your communication comes from you guessed it, your body language. And this is why today we're going to talk elaborately about how you can utilize this body language to your advantage. Because what we realized from this research and other research that was doing in this field is that people are receiving messages way before we even open our mouth. The way people are perceiving you starts with your body language, not the words you're using. And I'm seeing so many people are doing the mistake of preparing for their public speaking, for example, or their interview about what is their narrative that they're going to use or how to introduce themselves or remove filler words. But working on your body language might be the best investment, the best ROI for you if you want to improve your communication. So before I'm going to give you the rules, let me add one more component. If you've been following my doings or our community, you know that we have the expression gap theory, which basically explains the gap between what you want to say and what you're actually saying, again, especially in high stress situation. And you know also that the gap is usually consists of two parts. One is the delivery, meaning your body language, your tonality, and your narratives. But the foundation is still your mental state, how calm you are, how confident you are, how your nervous system is being regulated. So while today I'm going to talk about body language, I still want you to take into account that in order to achieve this body language impact, you still have to regulate your nervous system. But if you already past this phase, if you already achieved to regulate your nervous system, this is how you're going to take your communication to the next level. So without further ado, let's talk about body language rules. So as I said, with body language, there's three main rules that you need to understand. And in order to explain these examples to you, I want to go to a concrete example. Let's say you're going on a job interview. Lately, I'm talking to a lot of people that are really afraid of the job market. And to be honest, as should. The job market is changing. A lot of companies are laying off. AI is evolving. And there's a lot of uncertainty around this field. And I want you to take a second to think about how is those interviews look like from the interviewer's perspective. From the interviewer's perspective, every candidate that they see have AI to craft their CV. They have AI to design their picture. They have AI to write their LinkedIn post and their emails. And for them, the only opportunity to assess your true nature, your true skills, is only through direct communication. It can be an online interview or in person, it doesn't matter. It means that your ability to build trust, make the interviewer trust you, is by far the most important component of your interview. And in order to do that, your body language has to radiate specific things. So, number one would be calmness and relaxedness. This is an universal truth that I need you to understand. Whatever you feel in your body when you're communicating is going to be passed on to the person or people in front of you. It means that if you feel stressed, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't see it, the people in front of you are going to pick it up. There's a whole scientific explanation why it's the case, but for now, let's just say that this is the case. It's kind of like a sponge. If you radiate stress, people are going to pick up stress. Now, as I said just a moment ago, we want to nurture trust within the interviewers, the people who are listening to our presentations, maybe our clients. So, the first feeling, the foundational feeling we want them to feel is calmness. We want to regulate their nervous system in order to form this trust. So, your body has to remain calm. This is the first element that we want to incorporate. Second one is confidence. And for that, let me give you a concrete example from yesterday. Yesterday, I was interviewing a candidate for a marketing position in our company. And I was asking her at some point, what makes you want to work with our company? And she was starting to conflict. She wasn't sure. She said she is still looking for options. Basically, she wasn't very confident that our company is the right company that we want to work in. So I was about to move on to the next question, but then I stopped and I was asking myself, do I want to hire a person that is not confident in themselves? How can I be confident in them if they're not confident in themselves? And the truth is, I stopped the interviews after 15 minutes and told her this is not relevant. So, the takeaway I want to tell you from this story is that if you want to nurture confidence, if you want the people in front of you to trust you, you have to nurture a sense of confidence. And it means you have to start with feeling this confidence internally in your body. And this is not something easy to achieve, but through practice and mindfulness, it is always possible. And last one is diversity. And this is for me one of the most important rules in communication, because the mistake a lot of people are doing is that they're talking very monotone. It means that their pace, their tone, their energy, their narrative, everything is stagnant. And this is causing your brain immediately to just shut down. So your body language also have to be fluid. It means that if it's too predictable, too structured, our brain is just wired to switch off. And you don't want people to switch off, right? Don't you? We want people to stay focused, to stay engaged with you, your ideas, your thoughts, in order to fully express yourself. So make sure that your body language is diverse. It means that if you're using body language, for example, hand gestures, make sure it's not the same movement, right? So you're moving them a little bit, moving from side to side. Just play with this. The goal, the simple goal, is not to be predictable. All right. So play around. What I'm often doing, even right now, I'm recording myself talking, and then I'm watching those sessions and assessing how was my body language. And while watching yourself again and again, you're going to see some patterns. For example, I saw over time that I have the tendency to play with my watch, but I couldn't see this without recording myself. And that is a habit I just stopped doing. So I highly recommend you to picture or video yourself talking. It could be just you practicing at home, or if you're talking in an event, I highly recommend you to just put a camera and see how is your body language doing. By the way, I'm seeing more people joining us. So first of all, good to see everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday sessions about body language secrets. If you feel like it, you can comment in the chat where you're joining us from. And if there's any questions that are coming up throughout the session, I'm inviting you to put them down in the chat and I will do my best to answer them all. Now, before we dive on to application, I want to bring up another important element in communication. If you've been with me in one of our first online streaming sessions, I was talking about the expression gap in the sense of the cycle people are going through when it comes to an event. So, just as a reminder, every communication event has 7 different steps. It starts with an event. This event is triggering emotions, usually fear, concern, excitement, etc. Those emotions are causing physical tension, so physical sensations in your body. All these 3 parts are happening automatically without your consent or thinking. But the next 3 parts are happening within your control. One is nurturing, meaning how do you prepare your body, especially your nervous system, to the communication event. Second is how you express. And third is processing. And if you do the cycle correctly, you're going to be rewarded with a sense of relief or release. I'm telling you this because when it comes to body language inside of communication, it's highly important for your body to get this positive reinforcement. And this can only happen through practice and repetition. The more you're going to practice your body language in the context of communication and get this positive feedback, the more relaxed your body would feel, and then you would able to channel it into effective body language. All right. So now I'm going to dive into application, meaning how do you actually use body language to your advantage? And today I decided to focus on 3 main parts of body language that I want you to use every single time you are communicating. The first one is your hands. And especially in virtual communication, just like the one that we're doing here right now, hands are your game changer. The reason for this is that, as you can see right now within my frame, you can see the upper part of my body, you can see my face, and then in terms of my body, you can only see my hands. A lot of people, they just put their hands down. They're not even part of the equation, and this is a shame because you're not utilizing one of your most effective tools. So, how do you use your hands correctly? First of all, is keeping open palms. I'm seeing a lot of people closing their arms or putting their hands in their pockets. This is a huge mistake because it signals I'm stressed. I'm not feeling comfortable. Some people are crossing their arms or leaning on something. Don't do that. Instead, what you want to do is keep your palms open, ideally facing your audience. So, open palms facing your audience, and utilize the palms to emphasize your messages. So, one more time, you're utilizing your palms to emphasize your message. This takes practice, but over time, you're going to see that you're learning how to use your hands to complement what you're saying. It's an amazing feature to have, and I highly recommend you to utilize it. Now, if we're talking offline, I would say something really important is to keep your hands gestures in the frame between your chin and your belly button. So you don't want them to be too far, you don't want them to be too high. You want your hand gestures to be just in the gap between your chin and your belly button. This is your sweet spot. This is where people can see your messages in your hands, but can also still focus on your lips, movement, and words. So this is part number 1, hand gesture. Part number 2 is eyes. So eye contact is a huge component of body language. A lot of people, when they're feeling stressed, nervous, uncomfortable, they're starting to gaze around. So they might look up, they might look to the sides, they might look down. And unfortunately, this also signals I'm not feeling comfortable. However, if you're making eye contact, you already give the person in front of you the feeling like you're here to connect. And let me tell you another secret. This is true for in person, so when you're meeting people face to face. However, it's also true for virtual communication. So it was scientifically proven that when we're making eye contact, for example, now I'm looking at the camera lens, the parts of your brains that are being triggered are exactly the same as the ones that would be used or activated in face-to-face communication. So eye contact is important even in virtual communication. My rule would be don't stare, all right? Don't make constant eye contact. It's okay to look down, to move around a little bit, but 70-80% of the time, make sure that you're making eye contact. And if you're talking to a big group, a big room full of people, I would recommend the technique that Simon Sinek calls brushing the room. It means you're standing at one point, looking at somebody in the audience and making a point. When you finish, you move on, look at somebody else in the audience, make another point, might move up, another point, make your point, the specific sentence, and then move up another point. And over time, you are brushing the room. It's a fantastic technique that I used many times when I was giving seminars, and especially in big companies. And it makes people feel so much more connected and engaged with what you have to say. And the last part, it's about your body. So what is your body? What do you do with your body to make sure that it signals, as I said, calmness, confidence, and diverse? So one is move around. So I'm seeing a lot of people making the mistake of standing in one place, maybe talking to the microphone and not going anywhere. This is a mistake because you have a big room to capture. Even if you're talking online, you want to make sure that you're diversifying your position. So not just staying still, moving a little bit, leaning forward, making your point. The second one is sometimes I'm seeing people moving to different directions. You want to make sure that your body posture is direct to the people that you are communicating with. And lastly, you want to make sure that it's forward, meaning, for example, sometimes I'm on stage and I'd like to hop off the stage and get closer to the people. It makes a feeling of more intimacy. However, you don't want to be too aggressive. So you want to make sure you're finding the right balance between getting close to people, but then not too close, to make sure that they feel safe in their space. All right. So we're coming close to the end of our session, and I want to say all of the things that I've mentioned are really nice as a theory, but ultimately they can only be achieved with practice, right? So if you don't want to just keep this as a learning, I highly recommend you to use this in your day to day. It might be talking to a friend, it might be an interview, it might be a presentation. Make sure that you're taking the knowledge that we were sharing today and actually apply it in your day to day life. Because keeping this as a knowledge, I promise you, wouldn't make a difference. If you want to actually transform your life, your communication skills, this has to be applied. And if you need a place to do that, we can offer you exactly that. The Public Speaking Club is actually this week launching its first physical community in Dublin, and we also have one online. If you want a safe space to practice with like minded people, use our proprietary AI agent to practice with technology too. I'm sending a link here in the chat and in the description. Go in, fill the form, and you can join us for free for a free trial to check this one out yourself. But I promise you, I was working with hundreds of professionals from the best organizations on the planet. The ones that were actually making a difference in their lives and communications were the one that actually showed up and practice. The practice makes. I'm not a big fan of the quote of practice makes perfect, but I think practice makes progress. And if you actually want to make a progress, you have to come and practice. And we would love to support you in a safe environment that's offering feedback and unique methodologies. As I said, completely for free. All you need to do is to sign up in the forum, and we're going to let you know when is the next event. And on that note, I want to appreciate all of you for showing up today, improving your skills and communications. If you need anything, questions, thoughts, I'm always a message away on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And if you feel like getting more content like this, feel free to subscribe as well if you feel like it's helpful for you. And on that note, I will wish you a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next time. Bye, guys. Keep communicating.